Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of our tutorial series in Stormworks. I hope you guys like the series so far. If you do, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'm going to keep making these videos, keep making the tutorials. In this one, we are going to go over the game's sensors. And when I say that, I mean the simple sensors. So there's a few that you're going to notice aren't here. I'm not going to go over radars and some of the stuff that requires complex composite channels until we talk about composite. But in the meantime, we are just going to go over the basic sensors that do a lot of number values and on-off values. So we're going to start right over here. And this is the GPS sensor. So this is going to output our X and Y respectively. So if we go to our map right here, we should see our X and our Y in the bottom right corner. It's about negative 6,000, negative 6,000, roughly. I mean, a couple hundred off, but... So that shows your GPS, and this over here, I'm just going to show this because this is useful for autopilots. A lot of people use this system, and it's just a feature you should know in Stormworks. So if you want to import a coordinate from the map, just go to your map, right-click, click Set Waypoint. We're going to go over this map, or this keyboard, and you just click this button, and then it will output the X and Y. So that's a quick little trip. The next thing we are going to talk about is the angular speed sensor. So this is going to measure the speed something is rotating. So this is going to go about this axis that it's facing. So it's saying that it is rotating left at 0.625 meters per second squared. The next thing we're going to look at is a speed sensor. It's as simple as you think it is. It just measures the speed in meters per second. So if we click this button, you can see that's how fast that's moving, 5 meters per second. The next thing we got here is kind of an interesting one. This is a radar detector. So this is our little radar right here, and this is a separate body, so you can move it, you see. And if you turn this on, it will let you know if it's being detected by a radar. Kind of cool. Likewise with this is a transponder locator. This will blink in proximity to a transponder that is on a separate body. Turn both of those off for now. And this is really useful for search and rescue. Most planes are going to have this on them. They should have this on them. This is going to help you find things that have crashed. So this is a pretty useful thing to have in Stormworks. This is going to be more combat oriented. There is no real need to have one of these other than combat reasons, the radar detector. The next thing is a tilt sensor. It's really a pretty useful thing for stabilizers, control systems, that kind of thing, especially with planes and boats. So it just measures the tilt. So this is at negative 0.2. So it operates from negative 0.5 to 0.5. So this is technically as low as this is going to go. So just account for this. Usually I multiply this number by quite a bit when I'm doing math calculations, because this is obviously going to be a lot smaller of an output than 1. Most sensors in Stormworks usually work on a scale from 0 to 1 or negative 1 to 1. And then I'm going to come back to these two in a second. So we're going to come over here, and we have a couple distance sensors set up. So I have a laser distance sensor you see right here, and that reads in meters. So 5.26 meters away is this target. And this is a normal target sensor, and this is 5.75. You'll notice there's a half a meter difference, and that is because this is 2 blocks behind, so half a meter behind the front of the laser. So the laser distance sensor measures from this front face, and so does the distance sensor. And if we move this, you see they move along. Down here is an impact sensor. This is really nice for just knowing when things contact. So you see there, as soon as that touches, it lights up. Pretty simple. Over here, we're going to kind of talk about a lot of the weather stuff. So I'm going to, hold on, let me turn on some weather. All right, so the wind direction, this is a wind sensor. It's going to tell you the wind direction and the wind speed. And the wind direction will be given to you in an output of negative 0.5 to 5, or 0.5. And then the wind speed is going to be given to you in meters per second. And we're not seeing any wind speed right now just because, well, we're in a hangar. if we went out there, you see there's wind, and it would point that direction, which you can work in conjunction with a compass sensor, and we'll talk about that a little bit in a second. But going on from here, we have a humidity sensor. This humidity sensor is going to work on a scale from 0 to 1. This number is kind of arbitrary. It's really used for Stormworks. If we go to fog, in 100% would correlate with one whole number on the humidity sensor. So this is just whatever this fog percentage is, divide by 100, that is how the fog sensor works, or the humidity sensor. The rain sensor works exactly the same way, 0 to 1. And if we turn this down, it'll go back down to 0. Up next, this isn't really a rain sensor, but I put it over here because it's next to the temperature sensor. Good Lord, I can't speak, sorry. But yeah, it's next to the temperature sensor. It's a radiation detector. So this isn't showing anything right now because I don't have any radiation pollution, which is a good thing. But it'll show it to you in doses per second. So I don't know if this is the correct actual measurement of Geigers, or however you're supposed to say that word, but this is what Stormworks gives it to you. So this is what you should go off of. The next thing is just a temperature probe. This gives you the temperature in Celsius, so it is 19.57 degrees Celsius right now. Pretty simple. And then you can always obviously convert these to whatever unit you want. It just, Stormworks itself is developed in not the UK, I believe Scotland. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but it's around that area of the world. So they use the metric system. Most of the numbers are going to be metric. The next thing we have is an altimeter, and this is going to show you the altitude. And this is based off of sea level. So when this is 0, that is at sea level. Pretty useful to have for, like I use this in my submarine build. So when the altimeter was above the sea level, it could start sucking air in. Pretty useful. Right here we have a compass sensor. So this is a compass. I'm gonna just kind of play with it real quick. We're gonna align. You see this number is it's almost 0. It's not quite 0, but it's lined up with this red needle too. So that's telling us this is north. So if we go to our map and look where I'm facing, it is, yeah, exactly, well, roughly north. So the compass sensor is going to give you this number, the arrow, not north. Okay, so north is going to be static. Always. You can turn this as much as you want. It gives you the number from negative 0.5 to 0.5. If I am correct, I could be wrong. I do believe that is correct, though. But yeah, so one of the things to note with the compass sensor, and when you're working with rotational things in Stormworks, is most of this stuff is going to be in radians. So you're going to have to convert this number from the field value it gives you, which is, again, the negative 0.5 to 0.5, and then convert that from radians into degrees if you want to work in degrees. So just keep that in mind. The next thing we have is a torque meter. This thing is kind of weird. It doesn't work great. I would definitely say don't base all of your engine calculations and statistics off of this thing. The torque is, obviously it's reading a torque right now with no movement, so it's a little weird. But yeah, so if we turn this and we'll just crank the engine up, you see we're generating watts, and it will measure your RPS and your torque. So we're at about 20 RPS, 62 torque. And then next we have is a fluid pressure sensor. So I just have a small tank of diesel right here with a pump, and it's reading 0 pressure right now. So we'll pump into that pressure sensor, and you can see it went way up to 47. All right, so lastly, we are going to talk about the fluids, and these will probably be another episode on their own. The Stormworks, this has changed quite a bit over the years, so I think a lot of people probably could use a refresher on this. But yeah, just basically speaking, we're going to more specifically be talking about the gas meter block right here and the liquid meter block right here. So the gas meter block is going to give you two outputs, which are right here, the gas level in liters and then the pressure. So this is a very high pressure tank. It's at 187.5, so obviously there's not, what is that? There's not 11,000 liters of volume in that tank, so you can tell it's pretty high pressure. And then over here, with the fluid, a diesel, which is a lot harder to compress fluid, this is not going to give you a pressure. It's going to give you the tank's total capacity. So you can kind of measure how much fuel you're supposed to have in a fuel tank versus how much fuel you do have. Just divide these two numbers. It'll give you how much fuel you have in the tank percentage-wise. But yeah, it'll output the fuel level in liters and the tank capacity. So you can see I didn't fill it quite up. Then the last thing is here, I just kind of wanted to show you guys the pressure thing, how it works. Just we'll talk about this more again, but this is a tank that spawned in with air. You can see it's got 43 pressure in it. We're just going to turn this and let the air out. And so you can see the pressure is going to play a really, really big role on how much actual gas you have in there. So in this specific tank, I believe it's just hydrogen, but that's going to play a really big role. And so that's just something to keep in mind. After the update Stormworks added with the pressure systems, it's generally advised to add some sort of pressure relief valve into your fuel systems. So this is just kind of why I wanted to talk about it quick. But yeah, guys, that is just about it for the sensors. So I hope you learned something, and if I missed something, let me know. We'll try to come back and circle back on it. But yeah, this is all of the basic sensors in the game. And in the next one, we will probably be talking more about composites and displays and various stuff like that. So as we go on, we'll get a little bit more in depth with these videos, a little bit more complex. But yeah, guys, I hope you learned something from this. Thank you so much for the support. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.